So, hey everyone, my name is Neil, and I'm the founder of Golden Earth. We are a Mendix only software consulting company out of Canada. So we serve customers in US and Canada both. Um, me personally, I've been working with Adaptable Solutions for over 2 years now. So that's what I'll be talking about today, right? Um, yeah. So happy to have you all here. Thank you for joining, and let's dive into Adaptable Solutions. So to give you a brief introduction about Adaptable Solutions, it's something that um, Mendix has come out with for mainly for software developers and enterprises. So it's built on the Mendix platform, which means it gives you um, all the features of Mendix, that is modularity, reusability, and composability, which we'll talk about in the future. But those are the main things that Mendix offers, right? And apart from all the things, so you get all the bells and whistles of a low-code platform, and you also can become a software vendor. So Mendix calls it an ISV, that is independent software vendor. Most their ISVs are of two kinds. One that serve um, the SaaS platform kind of a thing, which is and and the second one is who use adaptable solutions, right? So that's what we'll be talking about today. And and what this does is it enables a lot of innovation between software vendors and their customers, and also customers are enabled to add design time customizations, which means customers of the software vendors, basically they can do code level changes and customizations and add new features, and it's not only about what you get in the SaaS platform. So that's about it. And um, it's mainly for companies who are, say you were a company and you wanted to upgrade your legacy system into and bring in all new system, or you were doing something manually and you want to build a new software now, right? So you're always in a dilemma where if as a company you should be building something from scratch if you have the resources, or you should just buy something, and whenever you buy something you don't get all the features that you want, but then you try to match something that gives you most of the feature that you want. So that's every company's main dilemma when they're going to buy a new software. They should be basically when they want to use new technology. So but then there's a third path as well, where, say, what if companies could buy something that was already pre-built and then had the ability to customize that software that they bought, right? And they could manage their own release cycles and product updates and everything. And then they also had the ability to deploy things in their own environment, so that you don't have to rely on the software provider or the SaaS provider to um, on their cloud network and everything, right? So you manage your own uptimes, downtimes, and everything. And plus, you get all the bells and whistles of a custom software from a pre-built software. So a software that was pre-built, which matches 80, 90, 95% of your requirements. And then you add in the rest 10, 15, 20%. And that would be amazing. So, so, so like if you go to compare adaptable solutions with SaaS models, SaaS generally offers you a fixed set of features, which and then you can turn on and off some features. You can add your customizations based on, but everything is controlled by the software vendor, or for whom you bought the subscription, your SaaS subscription, right? And they are the ones who decide how much time, what kind of features you get and what you don't get. So whereas adaptable solutions provides a flexible framework, so you can add your own customizations and add your own code into it as well. So say the SaaS platform was giving you their own logins, but you want to log in using SSO, then with adaptable solution, you could add your own code or a feature that allows you to log in with SSO. And say take music streaming service as an example, right? So say music streaming service has thousands or millions of songs. It's something like Spotify. Now you get access to a wide range of songs, but then it's still limited to what they give you. Now, what happens is you could create playlists, you could skip songs, you could hit next, and you can create 100 playlists, 1,000 playlists if you want. But that's about it, right? And adaptable solution is something that gives you a customizable music platform. So it comes preloaded with all the songs that you have in SaaS. And then you had the ability to add your own songs or create new albums in it, or even remix the existing songs, right? So that's the power of adaptable solutions. And so, as I put it here, you're not just a listener, but a co-creator of your own music experience. So that's it. And then and while we talk about all this as introduction, we'd also want to know how does it work, right? So the most simple way to say it is a software vendor builds a core application. They extract or export that application into a package and then gives it to their customers. And the customers, when they open up that package, it creates a new Mendix application for them. And then the customer goes ahead and makes all the customizations to it and and adds new features to it and everything. And as and when the provider adds new features into their application, they would export the update, and you just have to do solution upgrades in your Studio Pro then. So that's how easy the working of adaptable solution is. And and then for from the software vendor or the whole adaptable solution ecosystem point of view, um, you mainly have three pieces in their architecture. One is the immutable core, which remains IP protected. So as a software vendor, any code you write as part of this core functionality, that goes to the when you export your solution or when you export your your code and give it to the customer as a package, it does go to them, but they cannot look into it because it's your intellectual property and it's protected, right? The second part, which is shared by both the vendor and the customer, is adaptable core. So any code that gets put into this part, what happens here is that remains that is something that the customer could customize on their end. So the software vendor builds it. For example, this could be like snippets, pages. It could be microflows and nanoflows as well, right? But what mainly happens is this is the part of code that the customer has the ability to customize. And then the third part is extensions. So that's something that is very specific to the customer application. Now, what happens here is they will have the chance to add any updates that they want without interfering with the with what the software vendor provides. And the extension part will be different for different customers. So the software vendor shouldn't be worried about that part. And architecting these applications would require a huge amount of understanding of what the customer's needs are, right? So if you are in the travel industry or if you are in e-commerce industry, then you would want to know what exactly your customers would want to customize, what they shouldn't be allowed to customize, and that's how you'll build your core functionalities basically. And then coming from the architecture and understanding your customer needs, right? Then you jump into this life cycle, like who owns what part of the process. So building the core is obviously defined or is owned by the software vendor. So Mendix calls them as ISVs, independent software vendors. They build the core solution, and then the customer sides of customizations or their implementations could be taken care of by customer themselves if they have a tech team, or they could ask the ISV to do it, or the ISV could have a partner ecosystem, so they could come in and do it as well for the customers, or any external agency also could come in and do it. And then the third part is really just about consuming the application production. So it's the end customer who does it basically. So so coming back to the build versus buy argument here is that if you look at all this, adaptable solution hits the perfect spot of this argument, right? Because you buy something that's pre-built and then you make changes to it. So and it's a huge opportunity for software vendors. So pick an industry and then and then build something that checks most of the boxes for all the possible customers in your industry. That's great. 80-85% of it should be good. And then once you do that, um, and they enable the customers to add their own customizations, right? So and based on your evaluation, put something in the adaptable core modules which allows the customers to add customizations that fit their business needs. And then there's Mendix. Mendix enables customers to add new features, so you as a software vendor do not even have to worry about it. And I'd like to give you a quick demo of how this whole functionality works. So say, give me one second. Yeah. So here I have two Mendix applications. One is this is the core application of mine. So if you look here, you can see the code, right, for this ACD add quantity, and if you this is the implementing application. But if you look here, that shows us protected implementation because this is the core functionality for the customer, so you cannot see anything. Whereas the software vendor can see their whole code, right? You also notice that these two microflows are not even available on the customer side, or on the adaptation side, or right, the app that is adapted from the core solution. So, and the reason you don't see it is because the software vendor doesn't want the adapted version to even see that those things exist. So that's how much of a control you have as a software vendor. Now, and now say let's go to the application. I might have to re-log into both of them. But say this is the core application, and here it's a simple e-commerce store where you have you see all the products you have in the store, and you can add to cart. The total changes. You go to cart page. You can add and remove quantities, total change. And basically what this core app has is it has a cart functionality. um, if you see, I'm not showing any discounts here, but it has a discount functionality as well, because you see here. So it has a discount functionality, it has the cart functionality, add to cart, you can add products, and all those things, right? And 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 the core application is not concerned about how the UI is, because it doesn't matter to them basically. But then the customer who is actually going and setting up an e-commerce store, it matters to them. So if you go to store home, they see all the categories here now, and what they have done is just customize the page over here, right, to bring in all the categories, and the category, one of the images in the category, that's it. Once you click, and then the navigation also has all the categories. So they just had to update those things. Now if you do view products, it shows the discounted price, the original price, and discounted percentage as well. And then they didn't want to change anything on the cart page or any of the functionality, so those things remain the same again. um so yeah, if you look at these two applications, like their core code base, the functionality of adding things to the cart and going to cart page, and those things, they remain the same. But if you look at the two applications, they're totally different from how they look. So, but again, the core code remains the same, right? So that, and now imagine if this core functionality, you went and sold it to 10 different customers, there would be 10 different stores, but they're all using the core code that you built for them. And this example, it's just the easiest example I could do. But say you're building a CRM system, right? For example, a small businesses, say, who are doing 2-3 million in revenue, they might not be able to afford Salesforce, and even if they can afford Salesforce, they might not want to use all these features. But you as a software vendor could build a small product that's only CRM, and then sell it to those customers, and they could have their customized version of it. So these are just some small examples, but yeah. So and And yeah, so that's how simple it is. And yeah, I think that's all I have. So for Adaptable Solutions, but yeah, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to